A2Z Across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zidberg.
And welcome to another edition of the A2Z Across LC podcast. My name is Jeff Alsman. We have a guest host in the studio with us today. It is Mike Lemons who is joining us. Mike, we're glad to have you with us. Cody is indisposed at the moment. He's with the tennis team, the men's tennis team down at the national tournament, and we had hoped to be able to bring him in virtually, and the weather got bad down there, and he had to do other duties as assigned, and he actually does have an official job as the athletic director, and that does kind of come first. But welcome aboard.
Well, thanks for having me. You know, normally I'm just engineering part of it, so I guess today it's the A to L. Well, we'll only cover half of the things that should be covered, I guess.
It is kind of, isn't it? Yeah, well, you know, this is you and David Olenbittle, who's also helping produce. You guys are the folks that keep us going all the time, so it's nice for folks who, of course, everybody knows you, but I was going to say don't know, you get a chance to see your face. So,
well, I'm excited to be on this side of the microphone this time, and I'm excited about the guests that you have coming in and questions we'll ask them.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about who we're going to
No singing, though. I won't be doing any singing. If I do get loud, I'll make sure that I get loud way back here or something. So
I appreciate.
I won't be as animated probably as Cody.
Well, I don't know if there's anybody as animated as Cody or who likes to sing more and with less talent. And he'll hate me for that probably, but and not everybody will agree. I know some of you out there like when Cody breaks into song, and we all do. But
sure. Yeah.
He could use a few lessons from our music department, I think.
I just understand when I don't possess certain skills, I don't put them on display.
I think that's called knowing your limitations.
That's
right?
What it is, right?
Yes, and that's good for all of us. That's for sure. On our program today, we are going to talk to Jennifer Mandeville from NGREC to talk about some of the summer camps that are coming up down there. Great place down on the levee, just a little downriver from the Alton locks and dam, and they always have some neat stuff going on down there, especially in the summertime. And then Debbie Edelman, who represents the Lewis and Clark Foundation, is going to be here and share the great work that the foundation does. And then we've got a student coming in our third segment, James Pepper. He's the editor of The Bridge, editor or publisher. I'm not sure they have a publisher. I think it's editor. And also one of the leaders of the Student Government Association. So hopefully an interesting program. We're going lots of different directions here as we end the school year and kind of head into the summer months.
Years ago, I was the advisor to The Bridge. And that was another one of those things where things that I don't do well, I probably should let someone else do. So I'll be interested to see where things are nowadays with The Bridge.
You were more of the digital and the broadcasting person, not the print
broadcasting's always been the background. So, the print came at a bit of a struggle for me. But now it's a part of our program. We have a journalism course that I have someone else teach for me, just like some of our production classes. I don't teach. Dave will teach those. So
I have been fortunate enough to be able to be involved in both print and broadcast media for probably the last 30 years or more, just not on a full-time basis, but just getting to play around with it. And as a kid, when I was young, I used to broadcast the Cardinal games along with Jack Buck. Yeah. And you probably did the same sort of thing.
There's a lot of people, especially those that go into broadcasting that want to do sports, kind of did that a time or two, if not more, when they were younger.
Play in the backyard, and while you're actually playing wiffle ball or throwing up rocks and hitting them with a wiffle bat, broadcasting what you're doing, people probably thinking you're a fool, but you didn't care. It was just...
I performed so much better playing around in my head about what I was doing at the plate as opposed to when I actually was at the plate. But, at least I had visions of maybe being able to make that happen.
Yeah, I loved playing, but there was always something about being able to call the game even if nobody was listening but me.
Right.
So it was, it takes me back, that's for sure. Well, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the events and things, as we mentioned, are winding down here for the semester, and things slow down a little bit towards the end of May, and few things happened during the summer, but not nearly as much as during the school year. A couple of things we did want to mention. The Riverbend Growth Association, who has their offices here on campus, are going to be having their Chamber Choice Awards on the 22nd. That'll be in the Commons. And then a big event that is a summer event here on campus. And you guys are probably in many ways part of it.
Yes.
The Summerfest. It's a huge event. They're moving it this year to a new location because of some construction work being done here on site. So it's going to be out on the, I think they call it the big grassland by the lake, the North Lake.
And that's an area of campus that very few people really realize or know that's there. And it's a gorgeous area just beyond the soccer fields, I guess, is a good way to put it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the event out there this year. And we're looking forward to it as a program to kind of show off the things that we can do in our program now. And that's really an opportunity for potential students in the area to come and see what Lewis and Clark has available, all the different programs, the services. So yeah, July 11th.
July
right?
11th.
So try to clear your calendars. It's late in the afternoon, 4 o'clock start, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, put that on your calendars to come check out.
So you'll be out there with a vendor table and a chance for, or will they actually be broadcasting out there?
We could be broadcasting. That's very easy for us to do now remotely. So we may do that. Obviously, we'll probably be running some video and maybe showing some examples of podcast. Who knows?
Oh, you better be careful. Be careful who you use as your demonstration.
And always, we'll always, for us anyway, we'll highlight graduates of the program because we've been lucky to have some pretty successful graduates. So.
Absolutely, the Wall of Fame, just outside the digital media and broadcast area.
Yes,
I love that wall.
Yeah, I do too.
It's great. Yeah. Yes. So those are some of the things. And again, we don't touch on everything. We highlight a few on the program. And if you are interested in all of the events that are going on, just go to your browser, type in events.lc.edu. That will take you to our public events calendar, and you can sort through there and find everything that's going on campus that's listed there on the public calendar. So, well, Mike, what do you say we take a break, and when we come back, we'll start talking about all of the neat things that are going to be happening down at NGRAC.
All right, let me give this a go.
Yeah, so we take a break. You know the outro.
I know the outro, right?
Let her fly.
We are
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, a proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been a welder. Or I could have chosen business.
We are? We are what? We are?
I think that was fine. And welcome back to our A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman with you, Mike Lemons as well, sitting in for Cody Zipman today. And we are joined by Jennifer Mandeville. She's the Director of Education at NGRAC, which stands for, I hope I get this right, National
Great
Rivers. I had to through a blank. National Great Rivers Research and Education Center.
Perfect. We just call it NGRAC.
That's why it's
a lot
much
of words.
easier to say NGRAC. So welcome to the program, and we're excited to hear about especially all these summer camps that you have coming on, and just kind of give us an idea of what happens down at NGRAC and what goes on with these summer camps.
Sure. Well, at NGRAC, we host river research and education, and we try to introduce the community to why it's so cool to live by the Mississippi River and why it's important to keep it as healthy as possible. And we want to start that education as early as possible. So we have this summer 4 camps, 1 camp for early elementary school students, 1 camp for middle school students, and a high school camp. And then we're going to do a special camp with our youth build students who are here at Lewis and Clark Community College.
So a full variety of ages.
Yes.
And what a beautiful spot you guys have down by the riverside.
Yeah, the water.
I'll do Cody's singing thing a little bit here today.
Yeah.
So.
I've been here 2 years and the river was at historic lows. And so right now the river's at a historic high. So I'm really excited to see what the river looks like when it's really running at a high water level. And it'll be really fun to talk to the students about the difference from last summer to this summer.
Can you kind of describe what some of the things might happen in these camps? I mean, I guess they'll vary based on age, but maybe some of the differences there, what students might be able to experience during these camps.
Sure. So every camp has a science experiment or a research experiment that the students run. And so usually that is a question the students come up with, but they often want to ask questions about how do we know if the river's clean? How do we know if our drinking water is clean? What kind of animals live in the river? So we let them kind of create as a team a scientific question, and then we help them see what it's like to go through the research process to answer that question. A favorite place to visit is China Creek, which is here on the Godfrey campus. Our students will splash through there collecting macroinvertebrates, which are little water bugs, and depending which water bugs you find, you can assess how healthy that water quality is.
So what was the name of the creek? I have no idea where this creek is. So
China Creek. It's kind of flows behind the tennis courts and kind of back through the...
Down near the Hike for the Holidays walkthrough event. Down there.
Similar.
Separates, I think, the building we're in from like the baseball field or something.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're talking
I
about.
never knew it was called China
There's no
Creek.
sign or anything. No. So, okay.
Yeah.
So you actually just go muddle through that and stir everything up and catch it in little jars? Is that how this works?
Yeah, so the students will do typically 3 kinds of assessment. They'll do a physical habitat assessment, so just how does the creek look? How does the vegetation around the creek look? They'll learn how we do landscape assessments. And then we'll do a chemical assessment, so they'll test the water for nitrogen or phosphorus and different nutrients and see if we can explain what's causing those levels to change or not change. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll get in the water and really muck it up and see how many critters we can collect. And we always get a lot of crayfish, a lot of good chubs, lots of damselflies and dragonfly larvae. And it's been really fun over the last 2 years and now going into my 3rd year here at INGREC to kind of see how the water quality, what has changed and what stayed the same as our campers. And so we're really excited this year to do this test with them because we have 2 years of data to show them and they can really start to understand what it means to be a research center that monitors the river over time. So we really try to show them what does it mean to be a field scientist? What does it mean to be an ecologist, but also do lots of fun. So everybody gets to go on a canoe on the Mississippi River. We might canoe through the confluence. We might canoe just the Mississippi River. We might canoe down by the industrial part of the river so they can see what the working river's like, and we'll end up at the arch. So depending on the age group, we'll pick a different part of the river for them to experience.
So you'll be able to do that no matter if the river's high and running fast, you'll still be able to do that part of it?
Yes, and we might change which section we'll do depending on kind of water height. But yes, we'll put every kid on a canoe on the river. We want every student that goes through water school, that's the name of our summer camp is water school, to have a direct connection, a direct experience on the Mississippi River, because we think that's one way to really cultivate a stewardship ethic.
Mike, you and I, team building in a kayak for 2. What do you think?
That'd be a pretty sturdy kayak.
It would have to be, wouldn't it? Yes, for sure.
So, as the the director of environment education, I'm sure this particular activity with these summer camps for students probably helps to go a long way to educating the community in general. Yeah.
That is our hope, right? By kind of working with students, we hope to empower them to take that message home or take that message into their community and really share kind of what they've learned. And it's been really wonderful. You know, last summer we did our first summer camp with Youth Build, and I've been working with them now throughout the year. So last Friday I met some of the Youth Build students and we did what's called storm drain stenciling. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I've heard of a storm drain.
So great. You know what a storm drain is? That's step 1. So we have the students, we have a stencil. I call it legal graffiti. They get to spray paint either on the sidewalk or the road, this stencil that just reminds citizens that that storm drain is directly connected to the river, that it doesn't go through the water treatment plants or go through a cleaning process. So anything you're throwing into that drain is going to make its way to the river. And their interest in doing that kind of community education campaign came directly from their experience with our summer camps.
Well, that's really cool. It sounds like it's very hands-on and interactive. Each one of the camps that you've talked about, no matter what the age group is, it's you come prepared to be involved.
Yes, and our hope is that they learn enough action items that they can show their families or their community members or their friends how they can get involved to make the river a little bit healthier, a little bit cleaner.
Now, remind me again, how long does this camp go again?
Sure. Each camp is 4 days. So typically Monday through Thursday, depending on if we have a holiday, we might change it up a little bit. Our camp that falls on Juneteenth will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But it's a 4-day camp. They come around 9 a.m. and leave at about 3 p.m. So a near full day with us. And we provide lunch. We provide all the snacks. We provide all the activities. The camp is fortunately underwritten by the Swarovski Foundation. So Lewis and Clark and INGREC were selected as the USA location for the Swarovski Foundation Water School program. That's a program that's in 8 countries, and we are the lucky ones who get to hold on to the North America location. And so that foundation funds the camps to make sure the students any student can get on the river.
So are these students, are these campers coming from all over, or is it still pretty much within our district or region?
It's predominantly students within the Lewis and Clark Community College District. We sometimes get a couple kids from kind of the St. Louis area who will come over. But in general, most families are from Jerseyville, Highland, Alton, Godfrey, Wood River, kind of Bethalto, our kind of local community. East St. Louis, we'll get a few kids coming from that community as well.
So with the underwriting that you talked about by the foundation, does that mean there are no costs or it's low cost? And how do people register? Are there like a limit of folks that can be participants in these?
Great question. So we keep it low cost. We run the program through the college's College for Kids program. So there is a small fee associated to be part of that program. And so we just ask the families to kind of sign on to that fee. But certainly if a family couldn't even pay for that fee, I'd be happy to chat with them and figure a workaround for that. We want everyone who wants to get on the river to get on the river or to have these science experiences with us. And right now, each week is capped at 13 students because that's as many as we can fit in a transportation vehicle. But we'll run as many weeks as we can to make sure everybody who wants to be part of the summer camp. And for people who want to register, they just reach out to the College for Kids team and use that website to register their students.
I'm not getting in the creek without water shoes, just so you know, especially if there are crawfish in there, it's not going to happen. So.
We've got water shoes, we've got muck boots, we've even got waders for people who really feel like they might take a slip and fall and want to be fully protected. We'll provide all the gear the students need to have a good time and feel comfortable because we know that's the first barrier to access, particularly to science, is people may not feel comfortable. And so we want them to see how fun science is, how fun the water can be, and just, get their feet wet, get their hands muddy, and go away thinking something new about the river.
Sounds like a great time.
Great time. Best way for students to get involved is to go to Lewis and Clark's website through College for Kids or go to NGREC to figure out how they can enroll in this camp.
Yeah, both. So our website has a College for Kids page that will lead you to the registration information, and the college has a great College for Kids website as well. So Becky Moore and her team will get their students signed up, and I'll send you a welcome email, and we'll get going from there.
Sounds super. So if you're out there looking for something to do 4 days this summer and you like playing in the water, getting muddy, or even if you don't and you just like chasing crawdads. We used to do that when we were kids. Rock Spring Park in Alton, that used to be full of crawdads, but
I didn't ever do that.
You never do that? No.
You can come to camp this summer.
So remind us of dates again.
Sure. So we're running every week in June. So we'll start June 3rd, and then each Monday thereafter, we'll kick off a new week of camp.
Sounds great.
Fantastic. Thanks for being with us.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. Appreciate
sharing all this exciting stuff going on. So if you're interested in that, get to the website, get registered before the seats fill up on the bus and you can't go and you'll regret it. Right. So thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We'll take a short break and come back and talk about the Lewis and Clark Foundation right after this.
We are
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but dental hygiene could have been my thing. Or my path could have been conservation.
Welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman and Mike Lemons with you today, sitting in for Cody Zipman, who is with our tennis team at the national tournament. Hopefully they're doing well.
Hopefully they're playing. Apparently rain's causing
terrible
down
there
today.
Apparently. Yeah. So good luck to all those folks. We're going to turn our attention right now to the Lewis and Clark Foundation. We have with us Debbie Edelman, who is the director, and also Shantea Wagner, who is an administrative assistant for the program. And Debbie, tell us a little bit about the foundation. Give us some background and history.
Sure, I'd love to. Well, the Lewis and Clark Community College Foundation exists to support the college, its students, and its team members, all for the shared common goal that we all have of prosperity for all. So back in 1973-ish, 72-ish, community leaders who were involved in standing up Lewis and Clark Junior College and bringing higher education to this region decided that the college needed a little bit more support than it was getting just from tuition and, state funding. So they created a 501c3 nonprofit organization, called it the Lewis and Clark Community College Foundation, and started fundraising. So since about 1974, the community has been donating generously to Lewis and Clark through the foundation, and that has enabled us to do things like have a President's Innovation Fund, award about $600,000 in scholarships every year, purchase things like the simulator for the nursing program, build buildings, create sculptures, all kinds of things. So
she's jumping way ahead. She just ruined 4 of my questions.
That's it. We're done.
Thanks for having us today. See you later.
So you have all of this fundraising efforts throughout the year to be able to fund these things. And I like to talk about some of those things specifically, especially scholarships for students. But those sources come from corporate leaders or corporate businesses in the area, I guess, or some of them come from faculty members, staff members here at Lewis and Clark. Where are your efforts most directed when it comes to that fundraising? Or should I just say everywhere they're directed?
Well, we do have some strategies that keep us focused, because, the world of philanthropy is vast, and there's many ways to skin a cat, and fundraise for things. For Shantae and I, the most important gifts are unrestricted gifts. Yes. So we try to focus on those gifts that make the foundation as flexible and pliable and able to react quickly to challenges or opportunities, or enable President Tresca to react quickly to challenges and opportunities as possible. And that's the unrestricted gift. We are beyond blessed to have had over these decades some very generous donors who have created endowments, and a portion of the investment income on those endowments goes to our general operating budget as an restricted gift. So that's really, really helpful.
Is it difficult to explain to some folks? I mean, I'm sure that the foundation would accept anything, but is it difficult sometimes to explain to them that we can do so much more with an unrestricted gift as opposed to a restricted gift? Or do you find that most people are willing to allow that to happen? They're not really concerned as much about that.
I mean, do we try very hard?
We don't really try that hard, but we do try to at least explain to anyone who wants to donate what their donation does. So, and we do explain to them with the unrestricted, we just have a little bit more lenience with it. And sometimes we have programs that people want to donate to, that those programs are no longer available. So when you have those scholarships that are restricted to those, then it's just, funds that are unable to be, spent. So, then we have to go in the process of contacting those who own those rights to those agreements that we have and see if they are able to amend them. So it's just a lot of background work when we have to do that. But, sometimes it's worth it. But and then other times, we have family members who created something and no one's available for us to contact. So then that becomes a challenge. So that's why we try to make sure we explain exactly what the restricted and unrestricted fund options can be. So, we explain it to them.
We're donor-centric. Just like the Lewis and Clark is student-centric, we're donor-centric. So wherever our donors are at is where we want to meet them,
Right. And you can understand somebody who may be an alum from a particular program would have a specific interest in using their donation for that particular program. So it all good. I didn't want to put it out there that you shouldn't.
It's a great question. And other people are like, nope, just use my gift where you need it the most.
Yes. So, and that's why we just make sure that we explain it to them. Yeah. But wherever they want to go, we're going to go with them.
Now, I know recently Dr. Trask has been pretty heavily involved in meeting with former students or alumni, both of Lewis and Clark and Monticello, right? I mean, over the last year, I've known him some different trips and things that he's taken, and people that he's gotten to meet that really has made a mark on him. And I even went with him to visit another alumni that's doing some marketing for us. So what has that been like? And I guess reaching out to alumni is a big part of your job.
Does our audience know what you mean when you say Monticello alumni?
Well, maybe not.
I would think, but it's probably a good question. I don't know. Do you want to kind of separate or square that up for us?
Before this campus in Godfrey, Illinois was Lewis and Clark Junior College, which it became in 1970. It was Monticello College, which was a higher education institution for women, a 2-year college. And it opened in 1838 and was opened by Captain Benjamin Godfrey. And That's all for the history lesson today, folks. That's another podcast,
Well,
another day.
You're born and raised in Godfrey. Those things are
You just know that.
ingrained in you. You just know it.
Right,
You just
right.
assume that everyone does. Yeah.
Yeah. Or when you're a transplant like me and you've been here long enough, you eventually figure it out. But there are still some graduates from Monticello College who are with us. We know of about 500 around the country. Do you want to share the Mary Williams story?
Sure.
No, I'm glad she weren't looking at me because I'm not sure who that is.
No, Mary Williams was one of the Monty ladies, because they like to call Monty ladies. She was one that Dr. Traska visited several times, and she's over in California. And she, in her will, had that she was going to donate to the Monticello Foundation. However, with being with Dr. Traska several times, she decided that she contacted, the president of the Monticello Foundation and talked to her, Laura Shancy, and she agreed with Mary Williams to actually split her estate fund. And so we got a portion of it, and so did the Monticello College. So, I mean, because she basically built a great relationship with Dr. Traska, and she wanted to do something for both the college and the Monticello Foundation, because we are two different entities. So a lot of people don't know that, even though we both have the foundation name, we are two different foundations.
So when you say that, just so people know, there is the Monticello Foundation and the Lewis and Clark Community College Foundation.
That is correct.
Okay.
And we work very well together.
Yes, we do.
And have the same interests, same goals.
Well, they're a
probably
grant-making
some same
foundation.
and some different, but
so they give grants. They don't do any fundraising.
Okay.
We fundraise. So they donate. They give the college and the Lewis and Clark Foundation combined about $75,000 a year. So we don't want. So we're very collaborative with our approach to the Monticello College alumni, because we know that some of them have, as Mary Williams did, an intention to donate to the Monticello College Foundation, and we don't ever want to be disruptive. Right. There's enough to go around for all of us, But Mary was just so happy to get to know Dr. T, and she got to know Shantea pretty well from all the phone calls and such too. So now she's passed, and her legacy will live on.
That's awesome.
It is. So you mentioned 501(c), so I'm assuming it's governed by a board of directors of some sort?
Yes. Yeah, the foundation has a 21-member board.
Yes, 21.
Our president is Rob Schwartz. He's a vice president at Busey Bank. And our newly elected vice president is Matt Schrimpf, who owns HWRT Oil Company. And his family has quite a legacy with Lewis and Clark. His father served on the foundation board, and his grandfather served on the foundation board. So we're really proud that we're in a third generation of support from that family.
So when people decide they want to be a part of this foundation, they want to donate. I know there are varying levels, I think, that you guys have in different classifications. Some of that, if the names haven't changed, I think there's an 38 club.
The year the college was open.
Right.
Know your history, Mike.
That's
right.
That's why she's so good with these numbers. I get it.
But and then also there are smaller levels, not smaller levels, but lower investment levels with that that people can do as well. But you guys put on events throughout the year too for some of those donors, correct?
We don't do fundraising events anymore. We've kind of switched from a transactional fundraising model to a relational one about 12 years ago in 2012. And out of that came two giving societies that fund most of our operating budget. The President's Circle, and that's where our corporate partners really come in, is they're donating $5,000 or more a year to be a member of the President's Circle. Unrestricted funds. These are people who are, close to Dr. Traska, part of helping him with the initiatives that he has, funding them. We also have the 1838 Society, which is another giving circle. And people donate $1,838 a year to belong to that circle. And that's where the majority of our, our bread and butter, the funds that, really make the foundation able to do what it does for the college. But as Shantea pointed out, we have donors who say, no, I want to fund a scholarship, or I want to fund the nursing program, or I want to fund emergency funds. I want to, have a specific interest, and we work with them to do that. And no gift is too small.
One of mine, right? I think mine is an emergency fund, right?
Yes. Which,
but if you'd like to join the 1838 Society,
She's always selling.
Hey, I was going there too.
It's just having interactions with students over the years and seeing students that have a real need, and being involved and knowing that here's an option for them to be able to realize what they need, and this emergency fund helps do that. So. We'll talk about the 1838, though.
Yes.
Before we let you go, if someone out there hears this and they're interested, how can they get in touch with you if they want to become a donor at any level?
foundation@lc.edu. Shantae or I will respond probably with a phone call because we'll be so excited. And no gift is too small at all. I mean, we are thrilled with whatever it is that people can and choose to give.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks
for
so much
inviting
for
us.
what you guys do through your work, the work of all of your donors as well. They really help make things happen that might not happen otherwise. So
we're just a conduit.
We have the fun job.
The fun job. Well, it sounds like it. It sounds like you have fun at it.
We do.
So,
We do.
Yeah.
thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely.
We'll take a break, and we'll come back and talk about the school newspaper and also about the Student Government Association right after this.
We are.
That was more fun than I thought.
A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, a proud graduate of Lewis and Clark. I got my start in the radio program that put me on the path to where I am today. We still do radio, but now we're so much more. Podcasting, producing, and editing, not to mention new equipment, studios, courses, and a new name. If you want to work in professional media or create better content for the things you love, do like I did and discover your path at Lewis and Clark Community College. Enroll today at lc.edu.
Welcome back to the A2Z Across LC podcast. My name is Mike Lemon, sitting in for Cody Zipman, and alongside Jeff Alsman, who is here today. He's not out playing around at some tennis tournament.
Yeah, can you imagine that? I don't even know if he plays tennis. I don't even know if he knows how to play tennis.
So again, for those just tuning in, Cody is with our tennis team at Nationals, and they're having some weather issues, so they're getting bounced around from location to location. So I'm filling in today.
And a great fill-in you have been.
Well, my we are's aren't quite up to snuff, but
all of our 1.3 million viewers, as
Right.
Cody says,
Right.
will appreciate the fact that you were here.
Sure.
We should get on to James. You want to do that?
Sure.
Go
Let's go.
ahead,
So
sure.
today joining us is James Pepper. James is a student of Lewis and Clark, actually, I think, who just graduated or will be
Yeah,
graduating
that's right. Yep.
from Lewis and Clark. James with The Bridge here on campus, our student newspaper. He's also the president of the Student Government Association. So thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's super cool.
So let's talk about the student government for just a second. What
Yeah.
got you into that? What does student government do here on campus? Why would students want to be a part of it?
Yeah, of course. So basically, I got into student government, the SGA, because I was originally a part of the Bridge newspaper, and the Bridge newspaper needed a representative for SGA. So I was like, yeah, I'll go to SGA meetings. And so I was going to SGA meetings like last semester, and they were like saying like, yeah, we're going to be doing some SGA elections and stuff to see who wants to be president and all that. And I was like super busy at the time, and I was like, do I want to do this? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then so I ended up doing it, and I ended up working pretty hard. I know the student body pretty well. I've been here forever, so I know a ton of people. So basically, yeah, I ran for president and I won. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
So what are some of the things that the student government does on campus, and how that benefits students, and what kind of pitch would you make to other students to get involved?
Yeah, basically one of the biggest things that SGA does is it helps a lot with funding for clubs. So anyone that's a part of any clubs, whether it be like video game club, nursing club, just any of the clubs, basically, we're kind of like a good way to get like funding for them. So let's say they have like an event going on, they can come to us and be like, hey, we want to do this thing. Could we get some funding? We're really good with that. We can help them with like any advice if they need any help with anything. And it's just a good way to kind of stay involved and kind of learn a lot about what's going on campus. We had our meetings on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Every other week and stuff, so the general body could come in if they wanted to hear about stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool little organization.
So did you have to run a presidential campaign before being elected, and did you have to kiss a lot of babies? That's what they say all the politicians do, you know.
Oh, yes, I did a lot of that. Yeah, I had a whole campaign and stuff I did. I was like talking to my friends, be like, hey, you should come out, come vote, all that. It was really cool. And then I showed up the day I had a speech I gave. I actually like wore this like super nice suit and stuff. It was super cool. And yep, and I was running against someone. So yeah, it was really cool. It was a fun time.
So obviously it probably takes some staff guidance or leadership to help you guys with that. Who would be those people? Who are the people who help you do that? And how much freedom and leeway do they give you?
Oh, for SGA?
Yes.
Yeah. We have an executive board. So we have the student government president, who is me. We have the vice president, who is Nicole Waldman. We had the student activities president. I forget her last name, but her name was Ty. She was there. We had a secretary who was Alex Hartman, who actually just recently won the election. So she'll be the president next year, which is super cool for her. And yeah, so that was kind of our executive board. And then we also worked really closely with like Dr. Hill and Christine Strohide and stuff. And yeah, that was kind of our little team there.
So do you guys get together and plan your events that raise these funds, or do you have separate things that you guys do, or at least appear at to promote the student government organization?
We didn't have any external events. All of our funding comes from the college. So basically what happens is we get funding from the college and then we can allocate those funds out to clubs. So that's kind of what our position is. But yeah, like we would talk about it and stuff on campus, try and get people to come out to SGA meetings and stuff. But that was the main point of our outreach, was our SGA meetings and stuff that happened every other week.
I think part of student tuition,
the student fees, I guess, probably.
It's the student fees. Yeah, we get a percentage of student fees. Student fees makes up, I don't know all the percentages, but it goes to a few organizations on campus, SGA being one of them. Student activities is another one as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So let's talk about the bridge now.
Yeah.
So I was telling earlier in the show when you weren't in here that years ago I was the advisor to the bridge.
Yeah, that was really...
Which I had no business being that person. I'm glad I'm not any longer. But anyway,
I think it would be fun. Well, we could both do it.
I was taught a lot by the students, which was kind of fun, I guess. But tell us about the bridge. How often does it come out? How many people work at the bridge? And just tell us about your experience and what kind of fun you've had doing it.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, the way I found out about that was I was doing some archiving of old newspapers, because we've been running since the inception of Lewis and Clark, which I think was 1970. Yeah, 1970, somewhere in there. But yeah, so I've been...
And I wasn't advising the bridge way back in 1970.
I think you were, I think it was like 95.
It was late 90s.
Oh, he's got you covered.
Yeah. But yeah, it was super cool. But yeah, no, it's a really cool paper. We run once a month. Oh yeah, we run once a month, except for we don't run June, July, August, or January. But every other month, yeah, we have a paper. So the next paper that'll be coming out will be the September edition. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's a good way to kind of get out, kind of learn about what's going on campus. It's ran basically by the students and stuff. There's a lot of freedom in what we want to put in the paper. A lot of people kind of do their own passion stuff. I worked mostly on doing like event photography and stuff. I was like, at the end, I was the only photographer on payroll. There was like a few other people that did it on the side, but I was the only person that was mainly doing it towards the end. So yeah, I was like the one making sure that we're getting photos for like all the big events and stuff. Things like the the honor ceremony, things like that and stuff. Like the tie-dye event and stuff, we covered those things as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I was working on.
So when you're on the newspaper staff, do you get to do lots of different things to kind of experience all of what it takes to put a paper together, from photography to writing different types of things, sports coverage, features? Or
Distribution,
distribution,
right?
Yeah. Do you get to play in all of those sand piles?
It's really up to you. It's really up to what you want to do. So yeah, there's some people on the staff that basically just like, I'm a writer, I write like game reviews or something, and that's what they do, and they don't do anything else. And then there's some people out there that really like branch out to try and do different stuff. So that was me a lot. I was like the main photographer. I wrote a few times. I don't like writing, but sometimes you just have to write if something needs to be covered. I did distribution coordination, so I was like in charge of making sure that people were getting the paper. I was a person working with Renee Rules, I think is her last name. We're working on the sports section of the paper. So yeah, you can kind of do a lot of different things if you want to.
And for students who might be interested, some of these positions are paid positions, correct?
They're all paid positions.
They're all paid.
So everyone that works at the bridge does get a pay, and it's I believe they're paid minimum wage through the college. It's really cool.
Now, is it required that you have to be part of the journalism classes to do this, or can you, if you just have an interest, you can come see somebody and sign up and say, "Hey, I take pretty good pictures. Can I hop on board?"
Yeah. No, you don't have to be a part of any program. You can be a part of anything. I mean, when we got Renee on, I don't think she was a part of any classes. She might have been a part of the photography class, but at the time I was not sure. But yeah, no, I literally went to Cody and I was like, "Hey, is there any like athletes or stuff that wants to cover sports?" And he was like, "Yeah, here's Renee. She's a soccer player." And I was like, "Great, sounds good." Yeah, we take people from anywhere. It's nice that they have a little bit of experience, but we actually are pretty good at helping out and like, oh, you want to write for us and you don't know how to write? We'll help you. We'll give you resources and stuff.
Now, Louise Jett is the advisor to the bridge, and she does a fantastic job. But how's Louise been for you guys in her leadership and helping you guys discover what it is you like about doing print?
Oh, Louise is great. Yeah, Louise is super helpful. She does a ton of stuff. She's pretty good. She does a good job at like making sure giving us the resources we need, and yeah, she does a great job. She advocates for us a bunch, so super cool.
We'll have to ask Louise, but I'm just wondering if there's ever any thought to also branching off into the digital. We'll call it digital
they do.
Print.
I think they do. They have a website.
Now,
yeah.
I can speak to that. Yeah, we have a website. It's the lcbridge.com. So even when we're not printing, we do have the website that you can go to. So yeah, the lcbridge.com. There's a little bit of bugs on there right now, so we're trying to get those figured out. Hopefully we'll get those figured out during the summer.
Well, and that requires a whole different set of skills to do the online stuff. So that's it's neat that program has branched out, because I mean that's real life. You don't know a newspaper today that doesn't also have a digital site.
And we have a bunch of socials as well. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Twitter, an Instagram, a Facebook. Which also I forgot to mention that I was also the social media manager this semester. So anyone that was, if you were seeing any posts happening on any of our bridge socials this last semester, that was me doing that. So, yep, I recommend checking out, especially our Instagram. I think our Instagram's pretty tight right now. So
now that you're graduating, what's next for you? What's the next chapter in your career?
So photography is my passion. That's what I'm kind of going for. So I'm planning on going to Webster University next semester, and I'm gonna go get my bachelor's of photography.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Cool. It is.
Anybody else, any other teachers you'd want to give a shout out to that you've experienced here that you'd like to recognize? Or maybe it's Louise that you've already talked about, or someone else?
Gosh, let's see. Super shout outs to, super shout outs to Louise. She did a great job. Shout out to my photography professor, Mr. Mitchell, Odell Mitchell Jr. He does a great job teaching photography here. Shout out to Laura Enlow. I was also working for media services this last semester, so shot a bunch of photos for them. So super shout outs to them as well, and shout outs to you guys for having me on and stuff like that.
Great. We got a shout out.
Did you try for that?
I was trying to coax it.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
The 1.3 million viewers are going to appreciate that.
Check out Mike Lemon's broadcasting program. Super cool.
Oh, thank you.
We've had some salespeople on today, haven't we?
We have.
We
That's
really
good.
have. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good luck to you in your future,
yeah.
and thanks for everything that you've done for LC, and glad you enjoyed your time here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
I think that's going to wrap it up for our program today. We're going to give you one more chance to send us off.
Let's make it a really good one.
Good one.
We are
LC A to Z.